In this video, I would like to give two more complex examples of adding and subtracting rational expressions. Remember that we need to find a common denominator first and build up each expression to have that common denominator. Then we add or subtract numerators. So in this expression behind me, I'm going to start by remembering the factors of this denominator, y squared minus 16. It's easier to identify a common denominator if you know what all the factors of all the denominators are. So y squared minus 16 is the difference of squares. It factors as y plus 4 times y minus 4. If I write that denominator in this form, it's easier to see that the least common denominator here in this expression is y plus 4, y minus 4. Remember, the LCD is the smallest amount that all the denominators multiply into. This denominator is already the LCD. This one can multiply into it just by multiplying by the missing factor of y plus 4. I don't need to change this one at all. So let's multiply the last term by y plus 4. We have to multiply by the same amount in the numerator and denominator here. And then I can rewrite my terms. I have 8y. Now I can make a choice as to how to write this denominator. I usually choose to write it in factored form. So it's y plus 4 times y minus 4 minus, this is 4 times y plus 4. So this is 4y plus 16 over y plus 4, y minus 4. Now we've written or renamed the fractions to have a common denominator. The final step is just to add or subtract numerators. Now I want to remember here that this subtraction sign applies to the entire numerator of the second fraction. It's like it's distributed to each term. So I have 8y minus 4y, that gives me 4y minus 16. My end result, 4y minus 16 over y plus 4, y minus 4. That was the common denominator. But we're not quite done because we need to see if there's any common factors here that can be divided out to simplify this single expression. And in this case, there is a common factor. I can factor the first expression, the numerator, as 4 times y minus 4 over y plus 4, y minus 4. Now I recognize there's a common factor of y minus 4 here. And my final result is simply this part, 4 over y plus 4. Let's rewrite that down here to show our final answer, 4 over y plus 4. As in the earlier example, let's start by factoring each of these denominators. That will help us identify our least common denominator. So a squared plus 6a plus 5 factors as a plus 5 times a plus 1. A squared plus 7a plus 10 factors as a plus 5 times a plus 2. So we see that these denominators are not entirely different from each other. They already have a common factor of a plus 5. The least common denominator here will include that a plus 5. It has to include an a plus 1, and it also includes an a plus 2. This is the smallest amount that each of these terms or denominators can multiply into. So let's look at what each one needs as we rename these fractions to share a common denominator. This one must be multiplied by a plus 2. So we're going to multiply by a plus 2 in the numerator and in the denominator. This one must be multiplied by a plus 1. So let's multiply in the numerator and in the denominator. I'm going to rewrite these fractions or expressions and then combine them. So the first one, I have 4 times a plus 2. That's 4a plus 8. And my denominator in factored form is a plus 5, a plus 1 times a plus 2. Now we're subtracting a second expression. The numerator of that expression is 3a plus 3. And the denominator is the same, a plus 5, a plus 1, a plus 2. So now we're ready to combine our numerators. Let's make sure we get this subtraction sign distributed to each term in the second numerator. So I have 4a plus 8 minus 3a minus 3. So 4a minus 3a is 1a. 8 minus 3 is 5. So I end up with a plus 5 over this denominator, a plus 5, a plus 1, a plus 2. Well, it turns out, again here, there's a common factor that can be divided to simplify this answer. This is our answer, but let's put it in simplest form by dividing this factor of a plus 5 from numerator and denominator. So now my numerator is just 1, a plus 5 times 1 is equal to 1. And my denominator is a plus 1 times a plus 2. Here's our simplified result for this expression.